outside, and true to what Mark was saying, my next guest is among those, saying this is proof that some of these extra generous benefits born of the crisis and maybe the best of intentions are doing now more harm than good. His name is Senator Mike Rounds of the beautiful state of South Dakota. He joins us. Senator, you're among those saying, all right, this all started with the right intentions to help people in a tough time, but now they're actually hurting the economy and longer term themselves find jobs because these extra benefits are allowing them to hold off finding one, right?
Right now we have about 8 million people that were working a year ago that are not working yet today. We've got a long way to go, but part of what we have to be able to do is to provide them with an opportunity to get back to work. And that means as we open up these businesses and so forth, they have to have employees that are willing to go back to work. Unfortunately, right now, and this is unintended, but we're stopping people from going back to work. They're making the financially correct decision that says that they don't have to work, they can stay home, they can stay with their kids. So let's, number one, get our schools open again across the entire country. Second of all, let's get those businesses open, and they're trying to open right now. But we've got a lot of businesses here in South Dakota that literally, they're looking for people to go to work. We're 2.9% unemployment right now. Our state is open for business. We need those folks to be able to come back to work again. When you add $300 per week on top of the regular state unemployment benefits, it means that a lot of those folks are just making the decision that it would be better if I just simply didn't go back to work. Unfortunately, now I've lost
but Senator, if you think about it, governors are beginning to share your concern there. The Montana governor, for example, wants to get out of that extra federal benefit program and will even pay potential workers up to $1,200. The equivalent. Oh, you don't hear us anymore. All right. Let's see if we can fix that, guys. If we're working on it, just to let you know, the Montana governor is among those saying that the extra $300 a week, the federal benefit, we are not really keen on extending that. And he's doing something a little unusual to try to incentivize people to get past that. $1,200 if they get a job and stick with that job for at least 2 weeks. So that's one of the things they are looking at. Senator Mike Rounds, I hope we're back with you on that. What do you make of that move on the part of the Montana governor to sort of pay people $1,200 to get off this benefit and to get a job?
I think a lot of our states are kind of the laboratories to find out what works and what does not work. And so if it means providing an incentive to get people back to work, look, like I said, we've got 8 million people that were working a year ago that are not working today. We need those folks in the marketplace. We need them to build this economy back up again. And we're not out of this pandemic, but let's target the resources that we've got in the right locations. Part of what we can do, and I think Republicans are very interested in doing it, is long-term infrastructure development. We all believe in that. I think Republicans and Democrats can come together, but it's got to be targeted, it's got to be specific. And we have to remember that while we're doing this for the right reasons with regard to infrastructure, roads, bridges, the communications we need, the water structures, and so forth, the one thing that we have to remember is that somebody's got to pay back all this money that we're borrowing. And we're going to exceed 100% of GDP right now with just our current shortfall within what we've already borrowed. We're going to be over $30 trillion in debt. And at some stage of the game, we're going to have to start paying it back. And that means we've got to have a strong economy to do so. Where Republicans probably disagree more with Democrats is that we don't think we should tear apart our tax structure right now, which has shown, it's proven itself to actually help build the economy. So along with all those negotiations about spending more money and in the appropriate places, targeted relief, let's not take apart an economy that really was growing before this pandemic hit.
But so are deficits and debt, right? In the prior 4 years, Senator, Republicans are not exactly the ones to talk about spending like drunken sailors, right?
No question about the fact that it's not just one party, but let's remember, the vast majority of the new debt has come in response to an emergency, which was this pandemic. But there's also several different pieces of legislation that should be considered that we're sponsoring right now. One of them is the Trust Act. You're hearing more about it. The vast majority of the overspending that we do is in an area that Congress doesn't even vote on anymore. They gave away their responsibilities. What they said is we have defense spending and non-defense discretionary, and then we have the mandatory spending, which makes up the mandatory spending makes up about 70% of what we actually spend on a year-to-year basis. We don't even vote on that anymore. Medicare, Medicaid, interest on the debt, and so forth. Those trust accounts right now need to be managed appropriately. We're overspending the trust accounts. We need to put together the plan to make them sustainable again, or Social Security benefits could be in jeopardy. Medicare benefits.
We're nowhere near that. You're right. We're nowhere near that, but we'll watch it closely. Senator Mike Rounds, I always appreciate you coming on. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll keep you abreast of